Starmer blinked. You ate her shoes? George Egghart nodded solemnly. Indeed. I am a hunter of the finest meats, and rumour has it Gabby Gogbog's shoes are made of the most succulent leather known to man. But why? Starmer was utterly bewildered. Because Egghart leaned closer, his breath tickling Starmer's ear. Those shoes are the source of her power. By consuming them, I have weakened her magic. But there is a way to break it completely. Egghart began to rant about hunting for shoes and how wonderful the meat of them was. A ruby sausage roll? Starmer questioned, trying to keep a straight face. Yes, Egghart confirmed, his tone grave, hidden within a secret Greg's bakery, nestled deep inside Ben Nevis. Starmer sighed. It was a lot to process. A witch, enchanted footwear, and now a magical pastry. This was turning out to be a stranger Tuesday than usual. Still, duty called. Right then, Starmer declared, rolling up his sleeves. To Ben Nevis! Meanwhile, in the heart of Downing Street, chaos reigned. Gabby Gogbog, a woman whose voice could curdle milk and whose glare could wilt flowers, cackled with glee. Ministers! She shrieked, her staff cracking against the floor of the cabinet room. The assembled politicians trembled, fear etched on their faces. With a flick of her wrist, a green mist erupted from the tip of her staff, engulfing the unfortunate individuals. When the smoke cleared, only shoes remained. Shiny, leather shoes, polished to perfection. The former cabinet members transformed. Gabby tried on each pair, but none met the standards of the shoes devoured by the old man. Gabby Gogbog, now armed with her new footwear and a malevolent grin, was not one to let bygones be bygones. In her quest for vengeance, she called upon the might of the British Army. Soldiers in crisp uniforms marched through the streets, rounding up old men from every corner of the city. The elderly gents, bewildered and clutching their walking sticks, were herded into a grand hall. Gabby, perched on a throne made of polished shoes, surveyed the scene with a predatory gleam in her eyes. "Which one of you," she hissed, her voice echoing through the hall, "is the old man who dared to eat my shoes?" The men trembled, exchanging fearful glances as Gabby's eyes bore into them. One by one they were questioned by her soldiers, the tension in the room palpable. Gabby watched, her fingers drumming against the armrest of her throne, awaiting the confession that would bring her the satisfaction she craved. But when no one confessed, Gabby, in a fit of rage, raised her hand and turned the old men into turtles. Section 5. Assault on the senses. The ascent was arduous. The air grew thinner, colder. The aroma of freshly baked pastry, however, spurred Starmer onwards. It was an assault on the senses, warm, buttery, and undeniably sausagey. "Are you sure about this, Egghart?" Starmer gasped, gripping his chest. Egghart, seemingly unaffected by the altitude, sniffed the air. "We're close. Can you smell it?" The summit was near, and the scent grew stronger, filling their senses with hope. Gabby's monumental meltdown. Gabby Gogbog, with her usual flair for the dramatic, had coerced the British public into constructing a colossal 500-foot statue of herself. The process had been long, arduous, and filled with complaints, but finally the statue stood tall, a testament to Gabby's grandeur. However, upon seeing the finished product, Gabby's eyes narrowed, her gaze fixated on the statue's nose, which she deemed disproportionately large. "This is an outrage!" she bellowed, her voice echoing through the mountains. With a furious wave of her wand, the statue crumbled into dust, a cloud of debris filling the air. But Gabby wasn't done. As punishment for what she saw as a gross incompetence, she cast another spell. The onlookers felt a strange sensation as their bodies began to morph. Within moments, the British public found themselves transformed into half-human, half-pigeon creatures. Feathers sprouted from their arms, beaks replaced their mouths, and a cacophony of confused coos filled the air. Gabby, satisfied with her handiwork, smirked and flew away, leaving behind a bewildered, half-avian populace. The mountain echoed with the sound of flapping wings and the occasional indignant coo. Section 6. The Heart of the Mountain. They stumbled upon it, a humble Greg's storefront, radiating a warm, inviting glow, tucked away in a hidden cave. The aroma here was overwhelming. "Remarkable," Starmer breathed, his stomach rumbling in anticipation. Section 7. A feast of rubies. Inside, the shelves were laden with pastries, and at the centre, atop a velvet cushion, sat the ruby sausage roll. It pulsed with an inner light, its flaky crust shimmering like 1,000 rubies. "Eat it, Prime Minister," Eckhart urged, his eyes wide with anticipation. "Eat it and end her reign." Section 8. The return of the sausage roll. Starmer hesitated for a moment, then picked up the ruby sausage roll. It was warm to the touch, its aroma intoxicating. He took a bite. The flavour was unlike anything he'd tasted before, a symphony of spices, herbs, and the unmistakable essence of sausage. As he swallowed, a surge of energy coursed through him. The cave glowed brighter, the air thrumming with power. He finished the pastry in a haste. Section 9. Order restored, shoes returned. Down in London, Gabby Gogbog screamed, "No! My power! How will I get my revenge now?" she cried. The power she'd wielded evaporated. Her staff clattered to the floor, now nothing more than a gnarled stick. The shoes in the cabinet room shimmered, then transformed back into bewildered, disoriented politicians. Back in the cave, Starmer felt a sense of relief wash over him. The ruby sausage roll had worked. Order was restored. And perhaps more importantly, everyone got their shoes back. The British public, once turned into half-pigeon people, were now back to their normal selves. Now, if you'll excuse me, I hear there's a lovely little steak bake with my name on it. As Eckhart tucked into a steak bake with gusto, Starmer couldn't help but chuckle. It was certainly a day he wouldn't forget anytime soon. Section 9. Gabby Gogbog's return to life as an annoying Karen. Gabby, now powerless and stripped of her magical abilities, found herself in a mundane life. She became the epitome of an annoying Karen, constantly demanding to speak to managers and causing a scene at every opportunity. Her once fearsome presence was now reduced to petty complaints and trivial disputes. At a local supermarket, Gabby could be seen arguing with a cashier over the price of a loaf of bread. "I want to speak to the manager," she shrieked, her shrill voice echoing through the aisles. Employees and customers alike rolled their eyes, recognizing her as a regular nuisance. In another scene, Gabby was at a cafe, berating a barista for giving her a latte instead of a cappuccino. "This is unacceptable," she declared, waving her cup dramatically. The barista, unfazed, simply nodded and remade the drink. Despite her reduced circumstances, Gabby seemed determined to make the most of her new, albeit irritating existence. Her days of magical dominance were over, but her flair for causing trouble remained intact. And so, the once feared witch wandered from store to store, her presence now more of an annoyance than a threat. Life had changed for Gabby Gogbog, but she had adapted in the most bothersome way possible. The end.